This city has been the heart of countless historical events.
No, not those. These historical events.
You see, that's me. And growing up near Boston, my family was no stranger to the city. We'd see the museums, walk the parks, even catch a street performance or two.
In all honesty, for the longest time I thought, well, I've already seen everything, so what's the point of going back? But I can't lie, that statement did not age well. Because you see, being an adult has given me a little bit more freedom and the option to visit places I wouldn't have been able to go. Now that does include bars, clubs, and casinos, but as someone that doesn't drink and tries to only gamble on occasion, that doesn't help me much. So the real freedom I'm referring to is this. My car. I can't see anything.
Now before you ask, I didn't just get my license. I've had it for 6 years, but I never really took the initiative to venture out on my own and see what the city truly had to offer. I'd always written it off as a bunch of bland brick buildings, but I'd be lying if I said the city hasn't grown with me, because with the few times I have been into Boston recently, I seem to find something new whenever I'm there. So I thought today, why not bring you guys with me to go revisit some of these places I found, and maybe we'll even find a new spot or two along the way.
Well, the drive-in wasn't too bad, but I am getting a little hungry now. We should probably go fix that. So I'm currently in the financial district of Boston. For my entire life, I never knew that this was here. And while I could chalk that up to the fact that it didn't actually open up till 2022, that wouldn't be true to my whole story, because it wasn't until I was in the building over that I even bothered to visit this part of Boston in the first place. I remember back in 2021, I was recommended the Demon Slayer anime from my friend Will, and ever since then I had fallen in love with Japanese pop culture. The animation style alone got me to spontaneously buy my own drawing tablet, which eventually led me to completely switch my major in college as well. Around the same time, I was introduced to several different lifestyle creators based in Japan, which inevitably got me more interested in the country, and soon enough I was looking at ways to live there. Now if you've ever done that, you'd know it's nearly impossible without some sort of long-term visa, and considering the fact that I was fresh out of high school with no job, I had no money, and I knew no Japanese, I was kind of out of luck. But there was one thing that gave me an inch of hope, and that was the MEC scholarship. There's a lot to say about this thing, but essentially if you got it, it was a full ride, all expenses paid for scholarship to study abroad in Japan and learn one of the subjects from a long list of fields. There were 2 screenings, and I surprisingly passed the first one, to which I was then invited to take a test and interview here at the Consulate General of Japan. I remember being extremely nervous after the test because the interview was scheduled right after, but not before they gave me a chance to break for lunch. The test administrator told me that there was a food court in the building over, and that's when I stumbled into here. Considering I was applying to a Japan-based scholarship, it was only fitting I ordered sushi, and when I tell you it was the best I've ever had, I literally went up to the cashier afterwards and glazed the hell out of that entire restaurant. Honestly, even though I didn't pass the second screening, I'm more than happy with the experience. Not only did I find this, but I'd say that it was my first step to actually taking agency in my life. To put myself out there like that was more of a foreign concept, and part of the reason I'm starting this YouTube channel in the first place. Let me eat this though real quick, and then it's off to our next location.
Okay, so I've never been a huge fan of mini golf, but I recently stumbled across this place when looking up things to do in the area, and I can't lie, judging by the pictures, it seemed pretty damn fun, so I wanted to give it a shot. Apparently, they have something inside each of the golf balls that keeps track of every stroke hazard and points scored, so you don't have to spend time marking down points after each hole. There were also screens on every single course, so if I was ever worried that I was losing, I could just look up and remind myself of how good I am.
We eat those for breakfast.
Now, my cousin and I didn't play all of the courses here. I believe they had 4. If you wanted to try out any of the other ones, you had to pay a little bit extra, so we just decided to call it a day afterwards.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was fun, but I don't know if it was $36 worth of fun. For 2 people anyway, it's 18 per. For a 9-hole course, not bad. Not bad. I never really liked mini golf. That was probably the best experience I've ever had because I'm a pretty competitive person, and to be completely honest, when I see a number go up and down, it makes it a lot more enjoyable. And maybe that's why I stayed playing Valorant for so long, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. A lot of the time I spent in Boston as a kid was more so in the heart of the city. At least from what I remember, we didn't head out to Seaport all that often because generally the entire place was just commercial buildings. Pretty much the only thing that I have memories of from this place are from the convention center where PAX East is held and the Contemporary Art Museum, but even that I don't have any memories of going to at all, so Yeah. I gotta say though, in the past 12 years, it's no wonder that things would change, and to be completely honest, it's taken major strides compared to what it used to be. Theme bars and restaurants like Putt Shack are everywhere, and you'd be hard-pressed not to find at least something that piques your interest. I mean, even the view alone is enough to make coming over to this area worth it. And honestly, I'd love to sit here and take in the view, but we actually have one more place to go, and we're supposed to be there at 5, so we should probably leave.
Okay, so since I parked in like the most obscure location, it took me about 20 minutes just to find the car, but we are making good time, and I think if we avoid the highway, we should be okay. Oh, and a little side note, if you ever decide to take a trip into Boston like this, don't take your car. Just thank me later.
Already finished parking, but I did call the place a few minutes ago, and they said that we could come at any time so long as we still have the tickets. And considering the fact that I got those sent to my email, I think it's pretty damn hard for that to go missing, so we should be good.
Hi, hey, Future Jack here. I didn't realize, but in the moment, there was no audio recording. I didn't realize that I had hit the mute button on my transmitter. But we're gonna make do with what we have, and I was lucky enough to find out before we left the building entirely, so there is a little bit of me speaking at the top. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video at least. Sorry about that. We'll make up for it next time. Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying the voiceovers. What I wanted to say at the top was that I have been to New York City a few times, and I'd always imagined that to see something like this, I'd have to take another 4-hour trip south, but damn. This view is pretty nice. I could see some people saying, oh, it's not worth the $30, but I mean, it's a solid observation deck. We weren't arm to arm with people, it was generally pretty spacious, and it wasn't even that cold up there because the 360 glass was pretty much blocking all of the wind. And keep in mind, this is in October and I was wearing shorts, so I was pretty comfortable. We didn't make it up to the top in time for sunset, but I can imagine that the view was absolutely amazing, especially with all the fall leaves turning. I'm gonna be honest, I might come back up to this place around Christmas time to see all the lights too.
And I think this is probably a great spot to leave off.
It was a little hard to convey, but if you take anything from today, I want you to at least be a little bit more comfortable to get outside of your comfort zone. You don't always have to be extroverted, but maybe once in a while, it might be a good idea to throw a Hail Mary out. Even if you don't reach your initial target and the ball gets intercepted, at the very least, it's going to make the game a little bit more interesting, and that's really all that matters, right? I said it before in the most recent community post, but again, I want to thank you all so much for 10K. That number is like, seriously, thank you. It's because of that I feel like this whole content creation thing is not going to be in vain, and it makes me even more motivated to get more videos out. So thanks for supporting, and I hope to see you guys soon.